the brewery. I made it. And they have this most amazing sink here. Is this not cool? Made of wood.
Look inside, girl. Let the sun take you away.
Definitely worth a visit. I had an interesting morning so far. I took my coffee and I went down to say goodbye to the Canadians that are possibly leaving first thing tomorrow because they're still finding it's a little bit windy. They're planning to sail down to Belize, and one of the Canadians is like a super yacht captain. It's so interesting because my boss's daughter is also just got her captain's license, so interesting to be in such close proximity, rubbing shoulders with super yacht captains. What does this mean? We're not sure. But anyway, he told me that as soon as you're like 10 feet out from the dock, you're parking for free. So those boats out there, these boats out here, they are living free of rent. Anyway, so that's super interesting for me anyway. You know, RV life, living on a boat at a marina, you know, I like the idea of it, you know, because then maybe one can retire and, you know, you purchase a small livable boat and you live on it at a marina, and maybe you can travel or not, depending on how brave you are or how educated or in the whole captaining thing, sailing, which I am not at all. So, but I see these nice looking boats out there, like that one, and there's folks living on it. What a nice lifestyle. Home cooked breakfast, round number 2. There is another, so there's 3 pots out of 6 that this stove will accept. And yes, I went out and I did buy this frying pan. There's a magnet. I found this magnet on the fridge, so I took it with me to Chedraui and I tested it before I bought the frying pan. So I guess the magnet has to stick or else it won't cook. Which, yeah, I prefer a gas stove any day. So I've been noticing my scarcity mentality. That, you know, oh, better use the end of that onion because you don't want to run out. It's just so funny, eh? Like how the animal, again, this is the dispensa thing, so the body is the animal, right? How the animal is always prone to slipping into fight or flight survival mode. And it can be so subtle, just as like, okay, I'm about to like cut an onion and I was like, oh, I cut too much of the end off, I better use that because what if I run out? So it's just so interesting, these little moments of insight that I'm having, you know, about that animal process, the survival animal process. It's so funny how prone to these minor moments of panic that the animal, you know, is so prone to every single day in all these little ways. As I'm reviewing this, I saw the cutting board slip and the animal said, "You didn't ground the cutting board with like a wet cloth underneath." But one thing I did notice while I was cutting was kind of marveling over the fact that I wasn't at all animal nervous about the knife, which is sometimes a program because I have a bad history with a couple of times with sharp objects. So You might run out of onion. Oh, what else? You know, oh, you might trip there. Oh, the sidewalk's uneven. Oh, what if you hit your head and you fall and you're unconscious and nobody knows where you are? So I mean, oh my God, maybe it'd be cool to become amused by these thoughts, right? I mean, I guess the whole point is that a lot of times we are unconscious to them and therefore we're just living the program. And it ain't a healthy program overall because, as Dispenza and many others recently, you know, I've experienced teaching, is that no animal organism can live in emergency mode full time, or like your health just, you know, this is like fight or flight adrenaline all the time. Your body systems fatigue from that. And so anyway, it's interesting that I'm really focused on trying to connect to, you know, more consistently to gratitude. Maybe not just a morning exercise, but, you know, like I'll never forget that moment after my daughter was born. The euphoria that I experienced, not just from seeing those big, beautiful blue eyes, and she was so silent and just like, you know, looking around, looking around, and she just, you know, she was captured, I was captured, you know, the gaze into each other's eyes, and she was so quiet. She was so quiet and so calm, and I felt such euphoria to just all of a sudden not be in such terrible pain. So, you know, yet how many times throughout the day are we, you know, just aggravated? Though we can walk, we can speak, our limbs work, and we're not necessarily in terrible or chronic pain. So, damn, you know, wake up call, constant wake up call. Yeah, and so that's what I'm kind of trying to do, is be just a little more alert to how good it is. Every moment that, you know, I feel just fine. And that is a gift. So today I'm gonna see if I can make breakfast be a little more presentable, because it really looked like quite the mess yesterday, but it was delish. All right, I'm just about to add these refried beans, black beans. This is an incredible deal. It was like 13.50 pesos, you know, for this bag of 430 grams of refried beans. And I'm gonna add some cream cheese to that, and habanero to make a little creamy habanero sauce along with it. And this here is not pasta, and I'm not using it for breakfast. I don't know what to do with it yet, but it's like hearts of palm. So I have no idea. I might have to look up a recipe for that, but I'm just wondering if it's kind of like, is it like a pasta substitute? Anyway, then I've got my cheaper avocado from yesterday. There's your basic yellow cheese slices, 56 pesos for that little packet there, and I've used 2 or 3 slices already. I'm thinking again, this is gonna be breakfast and dinner. I've got 1 chicken breast, and I'm adding the rest, about 1/3 of a package of these black beans. I grew up with boil in a bag. This is beans in a bag, but I like it. Of course, it's great to be able to recycle things, but in some places, cities, whatever, it's not realistic. And so that would be the next best thing. I remember Layla's dad used to say that. He's like, Try and make things compact before putting them in the trash or the garbage. Alright, there goes our habanero sauce. Ooh, gotta squeeze it. Okay. Ooh, that might be a lot, but hey. I cut up some olives, so they're gonna go in there. Here I've added a little bit of cream. There's that beeping. Okay, do a division here. Yeah, I don't think I would like that thing, like frickin' beeping all the time. Which means, you know, you gotta take the time to shut it off. Cheese. Fromage. What's cheese? Oh, queso. Queso. Avocado. I don't know what that is in French, but on Espanol is aguacate. Aguacate. Beautiful, beautiful aguacate. Lovely and ripe. I've noticed that with the ones buying in Canada, I bought the bag and they just never ripened. So I bought a bag of 5 avocados and eventually I used a couple of them, hard as a rock. They were the right color, but they just never softened up, eh? So, oops. Okay, I'm gonna test the new frying pan. Oops. You have to touch it very lightly or else it gets upset. And 3. We'll try it on 3. Looking good. He likes it. He likes it. Hey, Mikey. He likes it. You have to be of my vintage, I think, to get that reference. He likes it. Hey, Mikey. The new frying pan is working. Yay. I'm actually not sure if the hot water works. I haven't tested it. And anyway, here's my little setup here. I've got this bowl of water, which is potable water from the bottle. And I've added a little bit of peroxide to it. And that's basically what I would rinse, like, you know, my avocados with before cutting them, just to be a little cautious. There's my eggs. Oh, now they're more sticksy. There's the little breakfast. I was hoping yesterday my breakfast would look like I had eggs on the plate, and now it looks like it. So that's a huge meal. I don't know I'll get through it, but it'll sustain me for the whole day. And then tonight I'll have dinner, probably with or without eggs, not sure yet. So I'm just taking my water that I had sitting, water sitting in the sink in a pot, and I've just been using that to kind of rinse my hands. I guess I'm so used to not having much water. I've put it in the pot with a little bit more, and I'm warming it up on the stove, and then I will start my dishes. This is just to, I mean, I use often the, you know, sink water that, you know, has been sitting around for a bit. I use it for like what I call like the super dirty dish phase, which is, you know, stuff when there's food everywhere. And then I'll get rid of the major debris and then I'll do a wash. And there goes dinner. And I found this microwave lid has been quite useful for keeping things not too dried out. So there's my paper towels. I have a habit now of putting paper towels that aren't, you know, dirty. So like from work, the ones I dry my hands with, I'll put them in my pocket. I put them aside, and then it helps me to, you know, to clean off some of the food debris, which ends up saving water.
Hello family, hello friends, hello loved ones, all of you.
I love making videos. It's super fun. I love capturing just the ordinariness, you know, of day to day. And, oh gosh. Yeah, I mean, my habit of saving paper towels, right? It's still with me. Not unconsciously, but there's a reason, right? Like my kitchen tap, not much water pours out, and I have a 5-gallon jug that's more than halfway, it was about half when I arrived. So that's my potable water supply. I think it's fine, especially because the beer is cheap here. I'm kidding, but not kidding, but kind of kidding. Anyway, so these habits following me makes the day-to-day quite enjoyable. And really, most of our life is average and ordinary moments, right? I mean, you almost hope, right? Because some of the memorable ones are because it was really hard. And then, of course, we have ones that are just super awesome, wonderful. But most of our life is in between that spectrum of really terrible and really wonderful, right? It's most just like average. And average life in a spanky apartment on Isla, even with its little quirks, its little Isla quirks of the pots aren't flat and the water doesn't really run, and like who even knows if the hot water works? I don't know. But it's enjoyable, right? It's not too hot today. I went out this morning to, you know, wish bon voyage to the Canadians, the sea captain and first mate, couple that I met. And that was really nice. And I met a couple of really nice Poochie dogs and the owner of the marina, whose name is Eric. So I'm gonna go check out more what they have going on down there. It seems like it's just gorgeous, right? So the captain, he asked me, what are your plans for today? And I was like, you know what? Like, I don't really know yet. and that's, you know, other than like, oh, you know, I better get out of bed in time to go over and bring my coffee over and have a coffee with them. And, you know, it seems like they're in preparing for the trip mode, so not super chatty. So, you know, I just had a coffee with them, a little bit of chit chat, and then I'm on my way. But I was thinking back to, you know, Dan Carroll about, what do you want to do today? Nothing. Well, and how nothing, just nothing. Apparently Donna said it was from the Tao of Pooh. How you end up just sort of letting the moment take you to, you know, whatever it is that's happening next, and how you can spend a whole day with yourself, or, you know, with a group or with someone else. And if you decide, yeah, let's just do nothing, and, you know, the next thing you know, you're, hey, you want to take a look down that street over there? Hey, do you want to check out that place? And it's all just inspired by the moment that you're in. So I think that's the kind of day, although I do have a little bit of a structure now, because I do want to go visit Sammy, who's 82, that I met with her daughter Alita 21 years ago down here. And she's in her 80s, and I'm gonna go see her. So she comes down still every year, good for her. So I will go pop in and say hello. And then I've heard that John Kane is going to be playing this evening at El Patio. So one of the friends of Phil and Nina, he's a retired pilot, and he is a music enthusiast. So he sent me this whole list of, I was going through and I was like, holy crap, that list is just for Mondays. Totally wild. Anyway, I'm gonna get that to breakfast, and thank you for, I guess you're tolerating my babbling, or maybe you've gone and bounced off by now, and either way, I thank you for tuning in. this ordinary moment in an extraordinary place, it's extraordinary for me. You know? Everything becomes ordinary. I was saying to the sea captain and the first mate couple that, wow, what a lifestyle you live. And I saw a little bit of the, and I'm like, yeah, I feel that eyebrow thing, because no matter what life you are in, it's still life. It still has its struggles, its exhaustion, its routines, that has its pluses and its minuses. But I thought of when I was working at Lake West Lacoon and how most of the properties I was showing as a realtor, now a disgraced realtor, were by boat. And like, there I am on this pontoon boat, and I was like, oh my God, I'm working right now. And those were some pretty darn good moments. The whole experience itself, cottages people don't have to buy, so I could be showing cottages for 3 years, 4 years to the same people and no paycheck, right? And still expenses, right? But that's me wanting the experience of that over just sticking in a city and like, I'll show this area only and only work with people that are ready to write the check. So I am I've really never pursued money. Anyway, I have pursued life experience because I know that life is short. Why? Because my mom's sister, my dear Auntie Anne, she suddenly passed away of a stroke at age 64 when I was 10. And the suddenness of how she was just gone, I only realized when I started seeing Pete. So it's going on almost 4 years ago. I only realized then that was the reason why I was so obsessed with the moment and so concerned about, or realizing that anytime you see someone could be the last time. And it's been in life trying to move away from that being like a fear, trauma experience to like, yeah, this could be the last time, because it has happened. Sometimes where I could predict that it could possibly be, and then there were other times where I couldn't predict it. But just, it gave me a certain appreciation for how precious our, relationships and our moments with loved ones are, and how quickly things can change. I'm thinking of, Ernest Becker's The Denial of Death, how sudden, the suddenness of life. Meanwhile, most of it is just this trotting along, right? And then there's a suddenness. And it's like, how does a creature reconcile that anyway? So that's our great mystery. One of our great mysteries. What is the great question? All we truly know is that the answer is 42. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. My head is just doing its thing. Oh, yeah. My head is just doing its thing. Maybe it's a little too busy. I should eat the breakfast. Thinking. Come back to the breath. Here in the kitchen, breakfast. Eat breakfast. Okay? I'm really shutting up now. I promise. One of the new things to experience is perfumed toilet paper. I've never experienced that before. But I can see the rationale down here, because you cannot flush the paper. The paper must not go in here. I'm used to that from my lifestyle in the RV. I don't flush paper either. But down here the plumbing is just not designed for it, so it completely plugs everything up. Oh my god, I can totally taste the tahini in this. I think it's red pepper hummus, but it actually said tahini on the label as well, and like, holy crap, is it ever good? Yes. These are the leftovers of the breakfast. I love these days. So look at the time. It's like essentially it's noon, and all I've done is have coffee, say bon voyage, make breakfast, and clean up. I find puttering is truly one of the most relaxing things to do, and I basically spent 2 full summers and early springs at my property doing just that because, well, Susie Dew said, but doesn't everything take so long? Yeah, it does, because you gotta collect the firewood, you gotta prepare the firewood, you gotta get the fire going. Maybe you gotta go collect water, and I had to go collect water, had to purify the water. Then you get the coffee. Collect the rainwater, collect the pond water, collect the lake water. Yes, it took a long time, but it was just so incredibly satisfying. And I'm going to go sit at the desk. But before I sit down, I can smell this amazing smoke. No, it is not marijuana. It's barbecue or a grill or something, but it's a smoke that I don't quite recognize. Whatever kind of wood it is, it smells so amazing. I just met a puppy named Millie on my way to check out what's going on this grill. Well, there's the campfire. They're gonna cook something later, these fishermen gentlemen. Oh, a new kind of wood smell. Random coconuts. So this is the digs, the waterfront part, and the boats. There's that bottom unit again. That's room number 1. I believe this is a shared patio. Maybe I should try sitting down here at least once before I go. And then he saw the veins in the leaf, and the light, and the balance, and he learned love. And then he was answered. Yeah, that's like the Moody Blues. Someone I used to know as a baby called them the Doody Doos. And there's the apartment.
Jack, what are you doing? He didn't know where we're coming.
Well, I just met Jim, and it's himself and his wife and his puppy Millie live on the nice boat down at the end of the dock there. So that was really nice. What a life. So they come here for 4 months every year, and then they have someone who looks after the boat for them, who I also met or saw when they're not here. Sounds like a fantastic arrangement. Essentially, this is the real me, moment to moment. So for anyone that I know that wants a realistic view inside how my head works, this is it. So it'd be time to get on with the day, getting on with the day. Yeah, it's sunny. And so of course I'm nervous about burning, but I got to get doing things. Life is short, and so is this trip. So here we go.
Life is beautiful, it's cruel. Life is beautiful, it's cruel, is what she said to me.